we continue in Sefer Shoftim. We're on Perek Tes Zayin, and we just finished Pasuk Yud Gimel. Delilah, for the third time, has been nagging. It's a good word. Has been nagging Shimshon to know what the source of his power is, and more specifically, how to bind him, how to be able to control him. And now he says, well, if you want to know how, my 7 beautiful braids, if you can tie them up and somehow tie them with a weaver's frame, that way you'll be able to control my strength. Now he's already, as we said, he's slipping because he's getting to the danger zone. His hair is this area. So let's see what she does in Pasuk Yudalid. Batiska bayoseid. So she does that, but she, more than that, she secures it with a peg, a strong peg. Either she sticks it into the ground or whatever, but she wants to make very sure that this time it'll work. So it's more than what he said, more than just the masoches, the frame of weaving. She secures it with a peg. Vatomer Elov, and she says to him, Plishtim alecha Shimshon, Shimshon, plishtim are here. Vayikatz mishnaso, he wakes up from his sleep. Vayisas hayisado erek vesamasachas, and he pulls forward the peg and the frame of the weaving, and obviously his strength is just as much as it was before. So, a number of things to mention. First of all, it's the first time it says Vayikatz mishnaso. He wakes up from his sleep. The other times it didn't say Vayikatz mishnaso. He woke up from his sleep, which gets the commentaries talking over here. So I'm sorry?
His kids arriving.
Well, maybe. But the Metzudas David says that the first 2 times, he says, first 2 times she tied him up with the ropes, did it when he was awake. But to already get to his hair already, that she knew he wouldn't let him do that when he was awake. Well, he's saying because he was a Nazir, and it's not even allowed to comb his hair lest he pull out a hair. But then again, she didn't know that yet. He knew that, but she didn't know it. So that's a little question on the Metzudas David, I'd say. But be that as it may, since it says he awoke, it means he was asleep, no question about it. So it appears that the third time he was asleep, and I guess this was a much more, took a lot more work maybe to secure the hair than to tie the hands. But he wakes up, and obviously his strength is just as great. Now it's interesting, the first 2 times it said, and there was an ambush there. The first time it was the governors who were in the ambush. Second time it was just regular people ambush. Third time it's no ambush anymore. Why? Because they kind of felt she wasn't getting anywhere with him. Interesting. So there was no ambush. As if almost to say that, Shimshon's feeling, the ambush isn't, like, let's say there is no ambush. The Yetzer might not ambush him. You think. Now, Reb Tzadok said that Shimshon had a tremendous siyata d'shmaya, a tremendous amount of divine assistance over here, because he was able to take the peg out completely, and without any help, it gets pulled out. But more importantly, couldn't you have thought that maybe a hair would have ripped out at this point? Because the comb is there, the peg is in there, so when he moves and this and that, something should happen. But no, the whole peg comes either out of the ground or whatever it was lodged. It all comes out, and no hair is taken out. So you see that Hashem is still helping him. Even though he might be erring, he is still helping him. But clearly, Shimshon doesn't realize this, but he is getting slowly into Delilah's grip. That's for sure. Okay. Moving on to the next pasuk. Now she comes with the heavy artillery. Super nagging now. Tesvav. Vatomer Elov, she says to him, Ech tomar ahavticho. How could you say that you love me? V'libcha einiti, and your heart isn't with me. Right? That's the line the wife uses. You don't love me anymore. Says Shalosh pa'amim esalta bi, 3 times you've mocked me. And you did not tell me with what is your great strength. So we see that she now appeals to his love for her to get him to completely sin. So we'll have to discuss that in a minute. The Malbim notes that what has she done now in terms of asking? What's she asking for now? The last couple times, the first time she asked for both things. Where's your strength from, and how do we secure you? The last two times he asks how to secure you. Now she's going back to where's your strength coming from. So why is she doing that? Because she sees she's lied to him 3 times about securing him. So and obviously, so if she's going to keep asking this, he's going to start getting suspicious, because she's still asking the same. Don't you see I'm trying to not answer you over here? So she realized she has to stop doing this, and so he'll understand that there must be something very awry that she's keep nudging us. And she realized it's enough. I don't want to tell her. So therefore, he said, just tell me where your strength is from. I just want to know your nature. I'm not even interested in tying you up anymore. I just want to know your nature. Okay, but anyway, so she's using different plans over here. So there's a bit to talk about on this pasuk over here. Now, again, why does the Torah have to say, the first couple times she said, well, why are you mocking me? Tell me where your strength is from. So, but now she's saying, how could you say you love me if your heart isn't with me? Right? Now that seems to be it. This is like already the detailed talk that the Navi usually doesn't get into such detail over here. So the answer is that we can see from here, we learn how Shimshon usually spoke to his wife. And there is a certain lesson that applies to Jewish husbands over here, that a husband has an obligation to assure his wife that he loves her. Right? That's clear. How could you say you love me if your heart's not with me? So obviously a wife has to feel that she is loved. And if she doesn't feel that she's loved, then then that's a major problem for the husband. And that usually, gets the husband in a place where he has to respond to that. He has to show that he has love for her. And she's kind of saying, if you want to say that you love me, you're going to tell me where your strength comes from. Because otherwise it's just words. You don't really mean what you're saying. So that's one aspect over here. As we've been learning with Reb Tzadok the whole time over here, she is mirror imaging him, the Yetzer Hara, that's controlling herself and is getting control over him. And we keep getting different tactics she's doing to be aware of how the Yetzer Hara employs itself to realize what dangers we can be in. So it's interesting that the Lila really, as the Yetzer Hara, as it were, was asking for 2 things. And sometimes we feel if we give in on one, if I give it on one, it'll be okay. So that we feel confidence that, then we can deal with it. In other words, if the Yetzer Hara asks you to do 2 things, and we maybe just give in on one, then we feel, okay, see, we can give in on the Yetzer Hara. But the Yetzer Hara is very, very patient. After tying us with thin strings, now it goes on to heavy cables. Still we feel we can snap out of it. The 3rd time it catches us sleeping, catches us off guard. And after 3 times we're so into the clutches of the evil inclination, we feel very comfortable in its presence. And then we'll see in a minute it's able to put us into a very heavy sleep, remove our holiness, and ultimately bring us to humiliation and despair. And that's what's slowly happening to Shimshon over here. And the Talmud, the Medrash compares the cleverness of the Yetzer Hara to the following story. You have a dog who is patiently waiting, watching while the baker is baking cookies. Now the dog wants a cookie, right? So what happens? When the tray is full and the baker's taking out a full tray, what does the baker do? Or let's say the tray is on the table. The dog knocks over the whole tray. So 50 cookies are all over the place. So the baker is busy clutching all the cookies and putting them back on the tray. Meanwhile, the dog's got the opportunity to take one of the cookies and runs away with it. So now, where's the cleverness of the dog? If the dog were simply to grab one cookie and run away with it, the baker would chase him after for that one cookie, right? So, and the baker would then feel he lost the battle. That smart dog, he got a cookie away from me, and I better be on guard next time to make sure he doesn't get a hold of me. So the dog is clever. The dog pretends to put all the cookies into danger. By knocking over all the cookies are in danger. And then when the baker saves all of them except one, the baker feels he's done a good job. He saved most of them. He doesn't feel so badly about the one cookie that the dog takes away. And he won't chase the dog away the next time either. That's the measures. It's the same way the Yetzer Hara works. The Yetzer Hara starts with a major offensive. And when we're fairly successful in fighting it, we feel we've won. But really, the whole goal of the Yetzer Hara was to get you to do one Avera. So he gives you an offensive and gives you 7, 8, 10 opportunities to sin, all these things in front of you. And then you figure, okay, so I only did one thing wrong, but I was good on 7 of them, so I had a good day out at the office against the Yetzer Hara. But you have to realize the Yetzer Hara, that's the whole thing he wanted, you only get one. He starts with one, then you figure, see, you feel pretty good, I guess I can deal with the Yetzer Hara. And that's what the Lila was doing. She asked for 2 things, then she asked for 1 thing. She figured, okay, all right, so I've stopped her so many times, okay, I'll give it on this one time. But really, that's slowly getting you down. You've got to realize that's what the Yetzer Hara, he's very clever. He turns our whole pan upside down. It can be done in so many ways, right? He can convince you, he convince you that you must take a vacation in a place that is not such a highly spiritual place. So with that, like, he turns the whole pan upside down. The whole pan's upside down. You have no place to daven in a minyan. It's hard to find kosher food. It's hard to feed the spirit of Shabbos and all these things. So what do? Okay, so you go to the stores, you look for things with a hechsher. Okay? Or let's say he puts you in a place where there's women dressed immodestly. It's especially in the wintertime. It's a place where people go to the beach, a place, whatever. So you're in a place where there's a lot of air. So you figure, okay, you know what? I made sure to keep kosher. I made sure to go to the minyan. Okay, so I wasn't so particular about what was going on the beach. I did pretty good against the Yetzer Hara. But the Yetzer Hara, that's all he wanted to get you the whole time with. He wants you to think, I was amazing. I was amazing. Right? He can get lots of people talking, lots of opportunities for Lashon Hara. 5 or 6 opportunities. So you held yourself 4 out of 5 times. You feel you had a good day, but he only wanted to get you on the one. He's got to realize that the Yetzer Hara wants us to feel comfortable with him. And say, I know your tricks. See, I know how much I know your tricks. I was able to stop you 4 out of 5 times. You don't realize he got you. So that's the same thing with Shimshon. He thinks he's okay, but he's already beginning to give in, and he's already being comfortable with this Yetzer Hara. And so the Lila is like the Yetzer Hara here. And how's he dealing with her? What he should have done for the first time is, this is not for discussion. I'm not going to talk to you about it. There's nothing to talk about. Oh, hey, dear, you will have to trust me. That's all. You'll have to trust me. And if you don't, I'm really feeling, this is something I cannot talk about. It's a person. And the real truth of the matter is, even in a marriage and in any relationships, there's different layers of ourselves that we reveal to people. And not every layer is a mitzvah to tell over. Not every layer. There's certain layers of, likes and dislikes, general dislikes. Okay. Then, that you'll tell most of your friends. But things you'll tell your wife or your husband, certainly things that are more secretive, no question about it. But there's some secrets you shouldn't even tell your spouses. Not everything has to be known. There's certain things that are just between you and HaKadosh Baruch Hu. What if, whatever, certain bad machshavas you may have, certain whatever. Not necessarily it's a mitzvah to tell. Not anybody. Because you've got to struggle with that on your own sometimes. Not everything a spouse needs to know. That's the real you, the deep you. Maybe just between you and HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And certain things, these ideas, we have a great marriage, everything's open. You know what? Not necessarily everything's good to be so open. This is part of this modern wave. Everything's so open. I know everything about the person. I can throw them out. There's no mystique. That's the problem. When everything is known, then there's no mystique. There's got to be a little mystique, even between a husband and wife. Not everything has to be. I mean, you can't do major things behind their back. You don't go and mortgage the house without telling your spouse. Okay? But certain deep, deep feelings that, you know what, if you're going to tell it, they'll only get aggravated. You know? So, you know what? You don't have to tell everything. There's something they won't understand the challenge that you have. Just won't get it. They won't get it. Certain things, a woman cannot understand certain challenges that a man has. Certain insecurities has it. She's not going to understand. She's going to think so, and it will belittle him in her eyes. So you know what? No mitzvah to tell it. If you don't think your wife will be able to handle hearing it, and vice versa. It's certain things not to tell everything. And Shimshon, really, at the end of the day, we can look at retrospect. It says, she's complaining like it. It says, you know what? You're going to have to love me even without knowing this. I think I've done enough things for you in this marriage to show that I love you. This is my secret. I'm not hurting you. I haven't done anything bad. Kacha, that's the way it is. And if that's going to make the difference with us being married, then we don't have much of a marriage to begin with there. And that's all. You know, that's what he should have done from the beginning, at the first time. It ain't going. Done. She would have yelled, she would have screamed, and thrown a frying pan at him. Good. But at the end of the day, she loves the guy. Okay, she'll have to put up with this thing. She's not going to know. That's it. But once you start entertaining, says, well, you say this and this, she doesn't give up. It just gets the person more. They're leading them on. You're already beginning to say. So that's how the Yitzhar. You tell the Yitzhar, sorry, closed. I'm not dealing with you. It's not for discussion. Yeah, it's not for discussion. Goodbye. I'm not going to that place on vacation. Don't even talk me into it. I'm not going. It's not a place for a Jew to go. Finished. Next. And that's it. So that's really what he should have done. Unfortunately, he didn't. Yeah.
One thing I don't understand is he tells her, and then she tries to bind him up, and then it fails, and she tries again. Doesn't he realize that she's trying to set him up and betray him? I mean,
not necessarily.
Why wouldn't he figure this out?
Yeah, because he comes across like I don't understand.
The wife wants to know, you know, a personal thing.
And says the Philistines are here. I mean,
no, Philistines. Just to say that that they're trying to attack you.
I know, but you know, if she binds him up and they were in there and stops his strength, all right, and then tries it again and tries it again, he's got to figure out that something's.
Well, that's why the third time she stopped. She changed. Malbim is saying, therefore, she changes what she asked for.
What's his thought? He should have said, "Hey, you know what? I told you, and you tried to bind me up."
But there weren't any Philistines around. She was just saying the Philistines are here to see were you telling me the truth. You told me your strength will be controlled if we tie you up with 7 strings. So now I want to know, did you tell me the truth? Did you tell me the truth? Did you lie to me? I don't trust you. And the truth is, she was right. He wasn't to be trusted.
And I would say,
but he didn't know she had Philistines around the corner. She wanted to know. Listen, tell me. I want to know this deep secret. You know, for example, dear, were there any other women in your life before you met me? Now that kind of question, I'll tell you right now, the husband just say, we're not discussing it. It's not on the table. Forget it. This is what I am now. It's not on the table. Because you know what happens. So, well, you know, there was a few people. Yeah, tell me all about it. Well, there was Jennifer Chveis in 1993. I says, really? Well, was Jennifer pretty? Was Jennifer this? Jennifer that?
Was she prettier than me?
Yeah, was she prettier than me? Now, dear, let's not. And really, Jennifer was. And the truth is, he loved Jennifer very much, but Jennifer dumped him, and she was the second choice. The wife was the second choice. Let's not be under illusions. Don't think that every spouse, you know, our spouse was the first choice. But let's not be foolish. Okay, somebody could have gone. You can imagine, especially in the frum world where it's done with a little bit of decency, right? Boy goes out with girl. Goes out many times, 6, 7, 8, 9 times. The boy falls head and over heels for the girl. She's really everything. And then the girl, of course, in typical fashion says, I'm not interested. And the guy's crushed. Okay, then meets the next base Yaakov girl, who's nice. You know, she's not nearly as pretty as Jennifer is, not as, but you know what? He's down, he's out. He wants to get married. She's a nice girl. She's a nice girl. Maybe that was Hashem's plan. Because otherwise he'd never go out with the second girl unless Jennifer let him drop like that. The answer is she wasn't his first choice. But then, of course, Hashem knew he would never, that was his bashert. So Hashem has to set him up for the fall to get to that girl. So that's the way it really was. And the truth is, he thought Jennifer was better. But he's happy with the second prizes also. You go to the Olympics, the silver medal is also a nice medal. It's also a nice medal to have. Bronze medal is also, you also go on the podium, even though you don't have the gold. Jennifer was the gold. And maybe Karen was the silver, and he got stuck with bronze. So the wife says, no, tell me, what, would you have any past girlfriends? She said, we're not going there. We're not going there. And that's all there is. Well, why not? Because we're not going there. This isn't going to help things at all. So the same thing over here. I mean, see, because once you start talking, because then, Jennifer. So Jennifer, this is what she said. Well, there was Jennifer, but she was nothing. So then she goes and tests out how nothing was she. Really, she was nothing. Well, did you sleep with her? Did you this? What do you? Now you're testing. She was doing nothing. Well, if she was nothing, how come? They start. This house goes. It was really nothing. Nothing. So did you ever give her presents? Well, yeah, of course, go first. Well, she gave her presents. She was nothing. It's like plishtim alecha. I'm proving to see, are you telling me the truth? That's the way wives are. I mean, husbands could be that way too. I'm saying if you're saying this is the way it is, she's going to trust you. She's not going to trust you. She's already asking you. If you already can't say we're not going there, and she can't be happy with. Obviously, if he knew he could have said we're not going there, and she would have left him alone, he would have done that. But if not, she's not very trusting of him. So of course she's going to test it out and say, please Shemalach. So he's not surprised. She wants to know a secret about me. How's she going to know I'm telling the truth? She's going to say, please Shemalach. Then she'll find out if I was telling the truth or not. So he's just saying, she wants to know, did it happen or not? He didn't know there were plishtim right around the corner. If there would have been plishtim there, and he would have had to fight them and kill them, and then he would have known. But since he didn't know there were plishtim, he assumed she's testing to see if I'm telling her the truth. That seems reasonable. Okay, moving on. What?
That doesn't seem reasonable at all.
Why not? Your wife must have never nudged you in your life.
No, that's not the point. If she nudges me and there's something like you said, you can tell, you tell. But the second time and the third time on the same topic, then it becomes a little bit suspicious. What was he seichel? What was he thinking?
It's not suspicious.
He must have been
let's put it this way.
Otherwise
the wife says, I want to know a secret of your life.
She was gorgeous.
So what he should have said was, no, we don't know she was, no, we do not know she was gorgeous. The Torah does not say she was beautiful. The Torah does not say she was beautiful. All right? If she says, I want to know a secret in your life. Okay, she's married to the guy. I want to know what makes you so strong. Okay, it's not the most unreasonable question. You're married to the guy.
Well, first of all, he's a Nazir. He has to keep a secret. How did this all come out? Fall apart the whole...
So, bischus nashim rashanios lo nigalu avosenu. Because of wicked women, our fathers have not gone out of into redemption.
And where was Hashem in all this?
You have a free choice. Shimshon has a free choice. Hashem said, "This is what you do. Now follow the rules. I'm giving you a Yetzer Hara."
So his seichel goes away completely, and he does this.
It doesn't go away. He didn't tell it. If it would have gone away, he would have given it away the first time. He didn't give it. He knew he's not, but he's married to the woman. You don't have times where women bring a guy down? I don't understand what's so unusual for you to hear what's going on over here. Most of the times it's the woman who brings the guy down. If she's bringing him down, if the guy's going down, he's got a wife who's helping him go down.
I'm not arguing that. It just seems very...
No, it's not. I don't understand.
I don't understand my question.
That's not the question.
The wife says, what is your strength? The woman, she's with the guy. She sleeps with the guy. She feels one with the guy. I want to know what makes you strong. I don't understand. It's not such an unusual question to ask. So then he says, this is what it is. And it's not unusual for a wife to not trust the husband. I don't know where you guys are from. Women, if they think for one little thing that another woman likes a guy, oh, is she going all over the place, and she's hiring private detectives, all this. Women are not, they're very, what do you call it, over their husbands. They want to have control. They don't want anything. So I want to know the secret of your strength. She wants to know it. So then he says it. So of course she's going to test him and say, were you telling me the truth or not? I don't understand what's so unusual. Did you tell me the truth or not? And guess what? The first time it showed he was a liar.
What?
She said, you lied to me. Now that's a bad thing.
That's the right thing he did.
No. So then she said, okay, now I want to hear the truth this time. I want to hear the truth this time, because you lied. I want to know the truth. I'm married to you. I want to know what makes you strong.
I don't get anywhere with this.
I understand. I want to understand. So he lies again. So he's going to understand. Well, as long as you keep lying to me, I'm going to still want to know what the truth is.
So why didn't he
I
keep
don't
on
understand.
lying?
I understand what the...
Why didn't he keep on lying? Was he doing the right thing when he lied? Yes or no? Yes, he was.
He thought
How
he
come
was.
he gave in?
He thought he was, but we see he's slowly slipping and giving in. If there were Plishtim there, if the first time she said Plishtim, and Plishtim came, and then he had to fight and beat them up, and then it happened a second, then for sure he'd understand she's setting him up. But if all she wants to know, he doesn't see anybody else there. He says, listen, you said this, she said, I see it's not true. I mean, that's not unusual. A wife will say something she's going to see. Is the husband telling the truth or not? You don't think a wife will say, dear, how much money do we have in the bank? We have $100,000. You don't think a wife won't call the bank and what's the account number? And then she'll call and say, there's only 50. She says, what's this? You told me there was 100. I see there's 50. No, there's another account. You know, what's the other account number of it? And then she'll call it because her husband figures he can get away with it. I don't understand. It's very typical, very normal.
But it's like if you...
Many women are not trusting.
Married to such a...
This is a typical marriage. You think this isn't a typical marriage?
If you had, let's say, an aversion to certain food, an allergy or something, and your wife, and you told your wife, so she mixed it in and you didn't know it, just to test to see if you're telling the truth, you'd say, you know, she's trying to hurt me, she's trying to betray me. Same thing.
No, she's not betraying him. There's nobody else. It's just him and her. She wants to know, is this what's going on? The problem is you already know the whole story. He doesn't. Right? He doesn't. He doesn't know that. All he knows is she wants to know my strength, and she tested me to see if she knows strength. Especially with the first two times they're saying that he was awake, he let her tie her up.
No, we said yesterday he was sleeper, obviously.
No, there's difference of opinions. Either way, it doesn't matter. She was just testing, were you telling me the truth? Were you telling me the truth? That's all. She was not a trusting wife. Fine. So there aren't men with wives with faults. Yes, my wife has a fault. Listen, I'm not telling her the truth, so she's not trusting me. That's not unusual at all. Can you imagine when the husband says to the wife says, where were you so late last night, dear? Oh, I had an office meeting, right? And then there's a message from Lolita who says, we had a great time with you last night. You don't think the wife's going to start wondering, what kind of bubble mice were you telling me yesterday?
That's a good reason to do so.
Well, the same thing. She says, what will control your strength? He says, he outright lied to her. When a husband lies to a wife one time, that's it. The trust level is gone.
He's a nausea. That's his strength.
She doesn't know that. Okay, I'm not going to belabor it. I'm not going to belabor it. I think it's very clear. It's very clear over here. There's nothing to be suspicious about. After the third time, she said, I'm going to keep asking about this. This is ridiculous. So I'll ask her for a different thing, so they won't be suspicious of me.
I think what the problem is that if he tells her that this is where my strength comes from, you can now die. You can now die. You can die if you tell her that. If you tell anybody that. So that's the type of thing that no matter how many times, and if someone keeps asking you something,
we will see in the next pasuk. You'll see the woman's most mighty weapon is still yet to come out. Nudging is one weapon, but there's a more mighty weapon coming up. Okay, pasuk Tezayin. And this weapon has been used here. Remember the rule. Remember Michalowicz's rule of Tanakh. 2 strikes and you're out. That's the rule. Not like baseball. You don't get 3 strikes. 2 strikes and you're out. He made 1 strike way back with the woman from Timnah. Right? Even though it was justified and everything else. But we see where his fall was. We'll see precisely he makes the same mistake identically with this as well. Pasuk Tezayin. Vayehi ki hetzika lo bidvareha. Exact same words. And it was when she afflicted him with her words. Where did you hear this before? With the Timnah woman. Right? Let's just look at that very briefly. Back to Perek. The end of Perek Yudalid.
With the riddle.
Pasuk Perek Yudal, Pasuk Tezayin. She's asking at the end of Yud Zayin. Yudalid Yud Zayin. It says on the 7th day, Vayagli told her, Ki hetzi kasu. Same word. We have here heitzika, heitzikasu. Same word. She is afflicting him. Okay? We'll see the Radak's shot in 1 minute. Heitzika lo bidvareh. She afflicted him with her words. Kol hayamim, all the days. She wasn't making that. Vata al sehu. Okay, Vata al sehu. We'll see in a minute what that means as well. Vatiksar nafsholamus, and his soul became short to die. In other words, he was losing his spirit with her to the point where he already felt like dying. Okay, in other words, usually when you have a nice house, you come home, your wife cooks you dinner, you talk about nice things, it's a nice thing. The wife had made the house into a hellhole. That's what she did. There was the Metzuda says over there, Lohaisa dato rechavalov. His mind wasn't at ease anymore. Like it was like, imagine a husband and wife are fighting cats and dogs, right? Baruch Hashem, I can't demand. I don't know what that is, but you hear enough stories about it. If the guy can't go in the house, this is the one place you want to feel where you could live. It's bad enough the whole place you want to kill him. So at least you have a home where your wife takes care of you and loves this, and the wife is making you crazy for this. And this happens. The wife pushes the husband to do things. The husband can't make enough money, right? The wife saying, all my other friends have diamond rings. All my other friends have $3,000 human shekels. If you really love me, you'd work harder. So every time he comes home, did you make any money, enough money? So the husband is going crazy. What's he going to do? So meanwhile, the husband has had many times to do certain illegal deals. That would have made a lot of money, but it was illegal. But he didn't want to do it. He's an honest guy. The wife's making him crazy. So he doesn't have an eighth. So a husband will do something he shouldn't do. So the wife will get off his back. The power of a woman is unbelievable. So Metzudas and Radak and the word Vate al Sehu. Okay, and it's interesting. The Metzudas, the Targum Yonasan says no other word in the Torah like this word. And it's a very unusual word. And the commentaries are quite explicit. The Gemara in Sota says that when they were at the climax of intimacy, she would pull away. She would refuse her help in finishing the intimate act. So this will generally make a man crazy, and that's the Achilles heel of the guy. If man needs it, right? For him, it's like bread. Right? That's what Potiphar, so Yosef called Potiphar's wife. That's what called Potiphar's wife. How Potiphar said, but only the bread that my master has, I don't have. So that's his conjugal right, whatever you want to call it. But so she knew how to play the game to refuse that from the husband. So this was and nudging him and this and that, and he's getting nothing out of this wife. So, it's at a point where you'd rather die. So, Moran, said, how could he tell? How could he tell? His life is there. But what's life with such a wife?
Divorce.
But, who else is he going to marry? Who's going to marry him? He's stuck in the Plishti land. He's got his job to do. He's got a job to do, right? So, and all the other Plishti women are probably the worst of the worst. So now he finds a decent Plishti woman. There ain't a lot going around over there. Right? And this is my bashert. Nebuch, this is my bashert. So you have to give in to the bashert. Because what does it help to be alive if your wife makes your life? It could be the opposite too. But generally wives are good at this point. Men are abusive. Men will abuse them. That's their problem. Women will nag you to death and will withhold things. If they want to. They know how to make you miserable. Fair. Husbands don't know how to make you miserable. They just know how to beat you up. They know how to beat you up. They're better at that. I'm not saying they can't, but they're better at beating you up because they're strong. They don't have to do anything else. The woman's not strong. She has to make him miserable. So she knows how to make him miserable. So if his life wasn't worth living, so then of course you might as well tell the secret. Because what does it help? And if she really wants to know, okay, I'll let her know. She'll leave me alone already once and for all. To the point, he should have realized, no, there's certain things you're not supposed to tell. Now, Reb Tzadok says, this idea of atikser nafshalamos, he says, he finally resorted to the third tactic to deal with the Yetzer Hara. Already said, if the Yetzer Hara comes to get you and you can't overcome it, so the first thing is learn Torah. So he mentioned about the fire, the ropes melted like there was fire. So he had the fire of Torah. So in other words, she was making him crazy, so he says, I'm going to the base medrash. I'm learning. That is a good answer. You get in a fight with your wife, she's making you crazy, I'm going to go sit and learn. At least I'll have solace from my Arvei Pesachim. I'm learning about the Seder, I'm learning about the Gemara. I'm out of that, right? So that worked for a while, but didn't seem to work. So then the next thing is, go say the Kriya Shema. It says the Kriya Shema, believe in B'tachon Hashem. Those are the fringes of the tzitzis, right? The chutim to bind them. But then finally, if all doesn't work, what's the last solution? Zacharas Yom Misas. Remember the day of death. Remember the day of death. So that's what it could be also mean. But Tiktzar Nav Shulamos, he tried the last tool to remember the day of death, but it didn't help because he was already going down that slope, too slippery and too down already. So that's one shot. Another shot is, originally Shimshon was not meant to die because he's supposed to be the potential Mashiach, and he's supposed to make the tikkun of the sin of Adam Arishon. Adam Arishon, the result of his sin was mortality into the world. If the new Mashiach will correct the sin, there'll be no more mortality. And that was the hope. But now that he's already slowly giving in, he knows he's not going to be the Mashiach anymore. He himself senses, you know what? If I couldn't say no to her, it's a chink in the armor, right? So he couldn't get out of Averos, so he ultimately is going to die from this. So ultimately, this is not going to work. Now, it's interesting. That's from his perspective. Let's go back to Delilah's perspective for a minute. Delilah, you see how far a person can go when they embark on the wrong course from her perspective. Because by now, the Philistines have given up. Right? They're not. You tried 3 times, right? And the third time there wasn't even anybody there. She must have the third time said, okay, the third time he told me braiding his hair, this and that. Okay, doesn't say there was anybody in ambush. He says, we gave up. But she didn't. Even if they gave up, and they really didn't want to give up, they had more to lose if Shimshon's still on the loose. But they already gave up. So they already gave up, so she figured there's going to be no money, this and that. So she'd give up. So did it work? You see, when a person really wants something, you don't give up. Even when everybody else gives up, you're still going to work on that. So she works. She gets to the lowest tactics to strain his nerves incredibly. Now, you see, on the other hand, he must have suffered a lot of pressure. Now, there was another option here. What's the other option?
For whom? For the life?
For Shimshon.
For Shimshon?
Divorce her.
Absolutely. You should have done that the first time.
Right. Well, obviously, we see from his patience, we see how far a person should try to go in keeping the marriage together. How far he should go in keeping the marriage together. So, and usually divorce is the last resort. You try what you can to try to not have that happen. So Shimshon is trying his best to not make that happen. One thing you don't see, you see clearly he did not abuse her, which would have been a very easy thing. He's very strong. I gave him one whack and she's flying against the wall. I lost my cup. Don't bother me anymore. He could have been abused. That would have settled the issue. That's all. Police would have settled it. He's so nice Jewish boy. Isn't it interesting? He's so strong. Give her one whack. Give her one set. Settle shut. Remember, this was 3,000 years ago. There were no women's rights in this business. Right? No. He's a Jewish husband. Jewish husband doesn't smack his wife under any circumstances. Even she's nudging you like crazy already. And she's withholding everything that you're entitled to, etc., etc. He had a tremendous amount of patience. How far you have to go to try to keep the marriage going. But obviously, Delilah was doing everything opposite of this marriage. As we've said from the Rambam so many times. The Rambam says the wife has to treat the husband like a king. Right? So it has to accord him great honor. Now, one of the honors would be if the husband says, I don't want to really tell you, so just leave him alone. Obviously, she didn't honor the husband.
He never said that.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, but if you 3 times give the wrong answer, it's kind of saying, listen, I'm politely trying to tell you, I'm not telling you. Obviously, I haven't told you the truth. There's a reason I'm not telling you the truth.
Because you just said that.
So let it go. Let it go. Let it go. But she just keeps going on. So we have to see. So what does a man do whose wife doesn't honor him like a king? So the Gemara says he has to wonder why and what can he do about it. So Duvna Maggid says a wife is an Ezer Kenegdo to help the husband. Her job is to help the husband realize his faults, so he should be able to see his shortcomings. So if the wife fails to honor the husband, it's quite possible he's done something wrong. He has to fix it up. So Shimshon's figure, she's not honoring me. There must be something wrong with me. There's a reason for having such a wife. So he figures, I guess maybe I should tell. Maybe that will solve the problem. Anyway, we'll see tomorrow how much success he got from that.